Chris, I have a question. Unfortunately, it's just for you today, Joe.
Oh,
no. You won't have a perspective
involving
on this.
Children, or
it is involving children.
Of course. He has cats.
Yeah, but
So
I don't know if in-laws or parents often care about the religious preferences of a cat. They could. They could. There's it takes all types out there. And far be it from me to judge. But you are not really a religious person.
I consider myself to be an educated agnostic.
Okay.
I know my way around religion, but I do not participate.
There you go.
And I was involved in organized religion.
But you came up with organized
did.
religion, and
Yes.
I came up with organized religion as well. And so I am curious as to what approach you took regarding religion with your children, and if that impacted your relationship with your parents or in-laws in any way.
So my in-laws aren't in the picture, and they aren't religious at all anyways.
Okay.
My parents, just a little background. My dad grew up in a Methodist church. My mom grew up in a Presbyterian church. Mm-hmm. You shake them up and pour them out. You probably couldn't tell which is which.
Right.
So it's Baptist light, almost Southern Baptist light, a little less hellfire, a little less brimstone.
It's like the Episcopal to Catholic.
Yeah. Preacher's not going to yell at you during the sermon. Right. I had an event happen. I was involved in our church. It was a Methodist church I grew up in. I actually got married one time in this church years ago. Previous life.
Wow.
No flexing on that one, I promise.
I got married in a Baptist church.
I taught Sunday.
Really?
I got married in a Baptist church in South Carolina.
That's amazing.
I mean, my first wife.
Yeah.
Did they sidebar? Did you have to like have meetings with the preacher and all that shit? Okay.
Talking.
Yep.
For the
had to
marriage.
do all that stuff too.
Yep. That was awkward. I don't need a preacher telling me about sex.
Yeah. I had I taught Sunday school.
Wow.
I was invested in.
How old were you?
I was out of high school. I was a college age,
Like
teaching
early
college
20s?
age. Yeah.
So were you like the cool like camp counselor guy?
No, I was not.
Like Christian rock?
It was
Like Creed and stuff.
it was people
I play
my
guitar for
age.
Jesus.
Yes.
Yeah. No. And I'll tell you what took me out of it when I went to church, and the sermon was about nobody had cut the grass at the church, and they didn't have the money to pay anybody to cut the grass. And I'm like, this is not what this is about.
No.
I will tell you, as far as raising my children don't have any. There's no religion in their life. I don't push it. And look, if they decided they want to start going to church, sure, fine, go. I'll take you. I'll drop you off, or you can get a ride with whichever friend you want to go with. Because probably I don't think you're just randomly going to say, I think I want to start going to church.
They watch enough anime to understand what religion is and probably not get into it.
My parents, I don't know exactly what happened, but they went from board of directors singing in the choir to we changed churches and now we really don't go. I mean, they don't. They stay in Florida half the year, and I don't think they go to any sort of religious.
Wow.
Down there. So
it didn't bother them at all that you didn't,
No, and honestly, like when we lived, a mile from my parents, they would come pick the kids up sometimes and take them to church. And,
right.
We'd go on
Take
Easter.
them to church.
Yeah.
Yes.
just like Phil did on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Exactly. Hey, yo.
Don't you remember how I said you have to just beat that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Take me
Yeah.
to church. I don't know why I started singing that shit. Such an idiot. It's just my brain.
But honestly, it doesn't even really cross my mind. I worked with a guy this week that was, he was I don't even know how to describe this without just telling you, but he was involved, and he and I had some conversations. He was a Christian guy, and he did some what do you call it?
Christian mingle?
Tell your story. No, not Christian mingle. You're witnessing and stuff like that. We kind of talked about my thoughts on it, and he was like, I completely understand everything you're saying.
Yeah,
that's. I don't know. What about do you have
just like I don't know if our society anyway is just getting more and more secular as time goes on.
Yeah. Well, I bring this up because I was at for one, I want to comment on the wedding thing real quick, because that put a wedge between me and my in-laws also, a wider wedge, I guess I should say, at the time. Because, my wife and I both grew up Catholic, but I haven't participated in the Catholic Church since I was probably 5. Mm-hmm. And my wife hasn't participated probably since confirmation in any real way, other than
know
like
what that means.
Don't worry about it. It's not worth getting into. But other than
It's
like,
yes, you are a person.
other than like C&Es, Christmas and Easter,
Yeah.
she hasn't really participated either. So, but they wanted her to be married in a Catholic church. And I don't give a shit. I got the paperwork.
Same, that's how I felt. I wasn't Baptist, but
I
whatever.
can participate.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. And then they're like, we got to go to these classes.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, time out. My answer is now a resounding no. I will not be educated on how to be married by someone who has not been married. I just won't do it. So we didn't get married in a Catholic church.
Yeah.
We got married in actually in a hotel by some like rent a priest or rent a pastor, I guess. And it was awkward, but it definitely had an impact on my relationship with my in-laws.
I mean, of course. Like, I'm not like just the situation alone. It's going to be awkward,
And I know
you understand that.
I got a buddy of mine that just recently got married in a Catholic church and had a great wedding. It was beautiful.
A lot of standing and sitting.
Yeah, lots of organs. You know what I mean? Both in people and being played. But big turnout is what I'm saying. But the thing about it is he went through the classes and all that. He's a very like
How involved with the classes? Because mine was like 3 sessions.
I didn't do it.
Okay, so because for me it was 3 sessions of like half an hour to an hour talking to the fucking guy. So I'm like, whatever, I'll do it.
Mine could have been a half a session talking.
You just wouldn't do it?
No, it's the principle for me.
Okay, for me, I was just gonna sit there and just
Well, Joe, you much like my friend, I would also describe as a go with the flow kind of guy. I am not a go with the flow. I am a rock in the river, and I'm not going down any flows that I don't want to go down. But his priest was like super cool. It was like, look, it's a thing we do. I'm in no position to give you advice. I don't know what it's like.
It's weird. That's weird. 'Cause
yeah.
my dude was married, right?
Yeah.
And with kids and stuff.
Yeah.
Your dudes aren't
No.
fucking married at all.
No.
Not even not married. Never had. Well, not never had a relationship, but not really had a relationship.
Correct, other than the children. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Well, I was gonna say, well, it's not long lasting anyway. It's fine.
I'm kidding. But so then there was that, and then my in-laws also wanted my daughter, my firstborn daughter, to be baptized in the Catholic Church.
Okay, so baptism is like anybody goes kind of thing. It's not just Baptists that do it.
Well, no, but it does mean different things.
Okay.
It does mean different things, but neither here nor
You dunk them in water, whatever.
yeah. Well, it's more of like a little cup spill with the cat because they do it as babies.
Oh, I've seen babies dunked before in the tub.
That's something different.
Yeah. Angela Yates wasn't a religious person.
Oh my god! How are we starting this
It's
fucking?
like waterboarding
10
for
minutes.
kids. But I prefer to
I
use.
saw the fail video of like pretty like dropping the kid in the tub, and then everyone scrambles to pick it back up.
Yeah, it's okay.
So, at any rate, we didn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And my approach has been much like yours. Like, I'm not bringing it to your attention. I hope that you explore it someday and figure out how you feel about it and make your own choice. And whatever the case may be, But that was interrupted because I couldn't get my kids into preschool. I couldn't get my kids into public preschool because they didn't check certain boxes, to be honest.
Right.
And if they don't check certain boxes, they go into a lottery. There's a lot of fucking kids in the lottery. It's a luck of the
I didn't know
draw.
how it works. I thought all kids get to go to school.
So there's like kindergarten.
Starting at age 5.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, kindergarten, all kids get to go to school.
but not preschool.
But
Is that
not
optional?
preschool.
Okay.
So,
This is very different than Alabama. By the way.
Sure.
It's very
Sure.
different. So
I tried to get Jaina in on a learning disability because she was speech delayed. And
Man,
even
she's smart as fuck.
yeah, I know. But even that,
learning Japanese.
she
by watching
just
anime.
listen, she just didn't want to talk to y'all. That's what it was.
Yeah, she was already above your level.
but even that, like they wouldn't. She didn't win. She didn't get entry, so to speak. So, I say that to say this: I had to put her in a private school.
Yeah.
And that became her exposure to religion.
Yeah.
Same with my other kids. They all went to like 2 years of preschool at this private school. So they have this, rough understanding of a character named Jesus and a character
Yeah, I remember
named God.
Selena one year said, "Got to get right with Jesus" at Christmas. Remember that?
Yeah. And my baby's always calling angels Jesus. And then, one time she saw like this huge angel and she said that was the King of Jesus. And, and then, Jaina, one time we were driving down the street and there was like 3 of those big crosses.
Tennessee?
You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
I do know.
Yeah. And there was
I've
like,
seen some giant ones.
there was 3 of them out there and she was a kid. She was in preschool at the time,
okay.
and she was like, "Oh, look over there," and I was like, "What?" She's like, "That's where the guys whack Jesus."
So to speak, Jana.
Yeah. But so anyway, they had this kind of rough understanding, and as they go, Jana's kind of not into it. It's not her bag, and the other kids just sort of, think about it like in the same way they think about everything. Like it's all as real or not real. As their whole life is kind of like, today Santa's real, tomorrow he's not, and so like they don't really know what to believe in that regard. They just sort of accept it all. But I bring it up because a friend of mine, who I almost consider almost like a brother-sister relationship, younger person, I work with her. She recently had a child, and she was very much adamant about no religion because her mother is very religious. Mm-hmm. No religion, I'll put on this kid. And
she a fan of Tool?
The mother gave her a prayer book to read with her like at night. And she was debating on how to handle that. And, I was like, well, look, does it bother you? And she was like, well, no, but I want the baby to have a wide exposure to everything, and so on and so forth. But a couple of interesting questions came from it. But one of which was, I said, my advice to her was, if it doesn't bother you, I would address your mother and say, look, I told you I didn't want any religion. This doesn't bother me. But when the day that something does, I need you to respect that. Mm-hmm. I'm letting this slide, but there'll come a day where I'll be like, that's the line, and you just crossed it, and I need you to. I'm going to need you to give me your word now, no hard feelings, and you'll respect that. That was my advice. I don't know if she's going that route or not. I think she's pretty adamant about just.
I mean, like you,
that might be the line. That might be the line.
That might be the title, Bobby.
Rock in the river. That might be the line. But
stick in the mud.
I think I prefer Rock in the River.
It can be both.
Yeah, that's true, I guess. I'm just writing down that title. So, Rock in a River, and I misspelled it, and they try to auto do it to Tiger. Rock in a
Because
tiger.
we're talking about Calvin and Hobbes.
Oh, nice. Maybe. So the other question that came up, though, was from a very religious person who I work with. He's a pastor at his church and all sorts of stuff. And he raised the question of, would you be this irritated, just out of curiosity, if it wasn't Christianity?
That's a great point. I was actually thinking, like, look, if you're going to expose your kids to stuff in this country,
I would be.
Well,
in general, like I think her approach and your approach is good. Just let them find out on their own.
I mean, I'll tell my kids, like, look, this is how I feel about it.
Right.
But if you have a desire to find out for yourself or want a different experience, I have at it.
Yeah. But, but I think the thing that's interesting about that is sometimes people in this country, which is largely, Judeo-Christian in terms of census, you know what I mean?
Yeah, also just like holidays and stuff. Even if you're secular, it's still Christmas.
Right,
it's still Easter.
Right, exactly.
You can't get away from it.
People that grow up with that sort of background as they grow up sometimes can resent it, and I wonder if a big part of her strong emotional response is because of her childhood underneath that, and had it been like, a prayer book with Muhammad or a prayer book with, some other religion.
Confucius.
Yes, Confucius. If she would have had such a strong visceral reaction to it, it's just something interesting.
Well, I mean, that goes back to, there's and I think we might have mentioned on here, there's a company that's been buying advertising all over the country for billboards. They had a Super Bowl ad about He Gets Us. It's Jesus gets us, and they tie it into parallels of things that are happening in the world and things. But I thought, I wonder if a Muslim organization decided to do this, or a Hindi, or like, how would that have landed? It would have been riots in the streets.
Well, it's both sides though, isn't it?
Yeah,
because like on one side, I think you're right. I think that an Islamic commercial during the Super Bowl probably wouldn't go over as smoothly as a Christian
in Arabic, you know.
But at the same time, I think that this girl would have been cooler had it been an Islamic thing rather than a Christian thing, because
it's just tied to the
that's what a lot of people rebel against here.
Well, and that's like, obviously she has some feelings about the way she was raised.
You know, when you see people that post like extreme liberal memes, for instance, that are religious related, it's never due to the dogma of other religions other than Christianity, some of which are extremely dangerous in terms of how they treat people in some response. You know what I mean? In accordance with that particular meme's point of view.
Yes.
You know, but they don't target that. They only target the Christians because it's the easy target. So it's like it's an interesting dichotomy in America, I think, where you know what I mean? Anyway.
I mean it's much like I think, not that I think it's okay. The thing is similar to just being okay with fucking making fun of white men. It's just like, it's just common. It's everywhere except that they're, you know, just part of the fabric. So you can just talk shit about them. Yeah. Yeah. You know, and they accept, and most they don't really fight back.
Yeah. And they usually have a laugh at it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's like that old Homer Simpson thing of like, white people be driving like this. And he's like, I do drive like that. Yep. You know, like, you know, and I mean, who doesn't love, you know, white voice? You know what I mean? Like, who doesn't love it? Like, anybody that does it, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Like Chappelle, Murphy, Pryor, anybody
South
that does
Park when the Asian guy was
anybody that does white voice is always funny. You know, like, well, I'll have a few parsnips. You know, it's just like it's just fucking funny. You know. Anyway, but so Chris, you got your coffee first. Joe, how was your nerd week?
I don't. No, it's okay. I got some stuff done. Not as much as you would think with the amount of time I have off. I did spend probably part of the reason why I probably spent 20 hours over at Pinkerton's house this week.
Yep.
Doing lasering shit.
Lasers.
So I got like 36 pieces
36 you said.
of foam lasered out.
And pieces of silver. I'm just thinking back to religion. Didn't he get 36
You did say earlier that there's going to be only 2 members left of this part. Somebody's in. But yeah, so whenever I have a chance, maybe later today, I'll start getting a chance to work on put together. I still need a piece of equipment that is at my in-laws' house right now. That would make my life a lot easier. So I might wait for that. Yeah, this is going to be a pretty big project.
I'm excited to see what you do.
As big as a project as like the Space Marine armor, and like I don't know. I do feel bad looking at my half complete projects that I have laying around, but I'm like, I'm just not into you right now.
I know exactly what you mean. I've actually cut bait on some stuff. I'm like, if I decide to get into that, I can just make it again. It's easy enough.
Yeah.
I don't need this pile of parts.
Well, I have the pile of parts. I have like a fucking 70% complete Space Marine armor sitting in the corner of my basement. And I just like, I think partially of what that is that project is just really tedious.
Yeah.
Right? It's not something I can just put on. I have to make a whole fucking PVC frame, or even just to like display it or put it up. It's like in pile right now. Cause like in order to like put it up to where like it looks cool, I have to build a whole ass 8-foot tall PVC frame.
Wow.
I have the skills to do it, but I don't feel like doing it.
Right.
Like I don't have an excuse for it other than that.
I think that's fair though. You know, ebbs and flows, man. Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't, so to speak. You know, like I start shit all the time and I'm like, I want to do this, and then I like that fucking Dark Knight shit.
Yeah,
like
I'd forgotten you had.
I started that shit in September, and I just finished it last week because I just got a hair at my ass and was like, let me just knock this out, you know. But I just didn't feel like it.
Yeah,
you know. And you know what? It's because it's different for me with this one. I think I didn't feel like finishing it because I was scared that I would have to feel like I had to do more.
The rest of them, yeah. What was that about the checkerboard? Do you need to explain how checkerboard works again?
I have a floor we sell that would be a great example for you.
We probably did go overboard on that.
I don't know. We just got stuck.
It's like a challenging thing to try to explain.
A1 and then it's B2.
Right. Exactly.
And A3.
Yes.
Bingo.
Mm-hmm. Damn it.
But yeah, so I'm going to work on this armor in pieces as I feel like it. I moved around lots of stuff in my house. I moved my computer setup to the basement where my 40K workshop table used to be.
Okay.
I cleared all that shit off because I'm not doing it. Because I know I get loud as fuck playing games sometimes, or hanging out in Discord, and my office has no door. It's actually a big opening. You know, you don't know my house. Well, some of you actually do know what my house looks like because you've been there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like it's a very open floor plan. There's a huge, there's a staircase and a balcony to the second floor. So like you can hear everything.
Right, yeah.
So if I'm fucking screaming into the mic on the first floor and someone's sleeping in the bedroom on the second floor, they will hear it.
100%.
So I moved everything to the basement. I'm choosing to be a basement dweller on my own. I've moved a lot of things into the basement now.
There you go.
See, shit I watch wise, a lot of just again low energy. Oh no, low involvement shows.
Investment.
That's the word.
Yeah.
English. Krista had her hernia surgery last Thursday.
Went
She's
smoothly?
doing well. But it was fast. It was fucking 45 minutes. She said an Autobot arm came out from the wall and like shoved things in her. I was like, oh, that sounds good. Sounds like a good time. Should have filmed it.
Yeah, hot.
Content is king.
Yeah, and she was up and about later today, more or less. And like by last night, we were doing our neighborhood walk.
Nice.
She's still not like 100%. Shit still hurts, but so we've been like hanging out, just watching bullshit a lot. Because she like even the good content, we can't watch too good of a content because when she starts laughing, she's like, I can't laugh too hard right now. It hurts.
Right.
So we have to just watch like mellow things.
Yeah.
So watched Ultimate. Oh, I'm not sure if it's Ultimate. I think it's just Drink Masters on Netflix, which is interesting. I don't drink anymore. I used to partake heavily, but it's a cocktail competition show.
Okay.
So like, it's interesting to see because like I like cooking shows, right?
Yeah.
It's interesting to see what people can do with mixing drinks.
Mixologists.
Exactly. Other than just because it's not just make it old fashioned or whatever. Just like create a new fucking drink, name it.
I show up as a pilgrim. I'm like, oh, the drink. I'm such an idiot.
Wow.
Yes. But they have to make some foods and stuff too, and there's a lot of techniques and fancy. It made me want to drink. Bottom line, it's like I'm not sure if I want to keep watching this, but it was a great show.
That's almost every show I watch.
Shows me want to fucking smoke nowadays. Where like I had the one fucking week of smoking, and now like I'm like, man, that did fucking.
Is there a cigarette scene in a movie that or a show that stands out to you as like, man, that fucking cigarette looks incredibly delicious?
We're just talking about Alien just now.
Yeah.
At the breakfast scene, but chilling with your bros, having breakfast, smoking a 6 out. Like I haven't done that in fucking years.
Mine is Dennis Hopper smoking a cigarette in True Romance. You know, it's got like that one hot light on him, and it's like the smoke is just like he's like pulling on that shit, and every time he pulls, like you could see little flakes of ashes coming off the front of it. It just looks like the perfect cigarette ever smoked. It was his last one, so it's a good one to have. But in that movie,
cigarettes. I did get. I should have asked your manager of a son to like get me a vape. I'm not getting vaping. If I'm gonna smoke, I'm just gonna fucking smoke. Anyway, I would like a fucking glass of bourbon. That's my preferred.
Come on over.
Do you have bourbon?
Yeah.
Do you drink? I don't know if you drink regularly. You just like have a nightcap or whatever.
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay.
Just depends.
I don't know if you drink just a drink or you just drink at parties.
No, it just depends on
it's
the mood.
like more acceptable, like it's more regular, right? To drink wine with dinner and or night or just hanging out.
Bourbon's in that category.
And beer is definitely.
Beer.
A lot of people
beer.
just
Beer,
drink tons
obviously.
of
I don't
beer.
even consider beer just regular.
Yeah.
People just drink beers.
Yeah.
People just crush a 6-pack every night for no fucking reason. But like bourbon's liquor, I don't.
Yeah.
And that's watching movies in movie scenes where people just pour themselves a glass of
And they have a
fucking
glass
bourbon.
flask that's see-through on their
Yeah,
desk.
it's like, who sets this up?
Yeah.
Or like, and they have like the tub with the ice cube like in the hotel room.
Yeah.
Just have. How often do you fucking drink?
Yeah.
You have just cold ice hanging
Well, it seems
out.
like those people have a drink at like lunch.
or whenever there's some decision to be made.
Yeah.
Back to the scenes in movies. I'd say TV like Mad Men.
Were they a cigarette smoking crew?
Oh yeah. Well, it was set in the '60s.
Yeah. Everybody was a cigarette smoking crew.
Yeah. On airplanes.
what kind of bourbon you got?
I don't know. I think I got some Bullet bourbon right now. I have a ton of Irish whiskey. That's kind of my jam. So
Cool. But yeah, so that was what I watched.
Nice.
Tattoo Redo also on Netflix.
we're in it.
Also fun.
Yeah.
Just seeing people's shitty tattoos
get made
and
into
then
better
getting
ones.
free. The gimmick is that they bring somebody along with them, and actually the person they brought along with gets to pick that tattoo. They didn't know that. So but no one is mad at the tattoos they got, even though some of them was like kind of out there and large, but they were all really fucking good tattoos because he's a great tattoo artist. My question is about these shows is, I watch a lot of these shows now, competition shows. They're not all equal in terms of entertainment wise.
Sure.
But there are a lot of shows that are like, why aren't there more seasons of this show versus more shittier shows in the same genre?
Right. The production costs.
I don't understand.
The creators didn't get along and they moseyed onto something else. I used to use the word mosey.
It's also, I think it's like one of those, like, you know, bringing sand to the beach kind of things. It's like there's just so much of that type of show.
But that's not, you can limit it. You can have quality more than quantity.
Yeah, but it's not the same people making it. It's like everybody wants to dibble their toes in and make a little bit of money off of it.
Netflix just make bad decisions.
Yeah,
like, I would have loved to have more. There's only 6 episodes of this tattoo show. I would have watched a lot more of it.
Yeah.
And same with the some of the cooking shows I've watched. Some of them are just really boring. Like it comes in terms to the hosts, really.
It does. And it's the way it's edited. I mean,
yes,
the thing you got to keep in mind is,
and the set also.
Yeah, most of the stuff, you know, what I always hate on these cooking count these shows is like 5 seconds left, 5, and they're showing all these people. I'm like, what do you film that afterwards?
Right.
You know, the reality of these shows is they just film and then they chop it up into whatever they want it to be.
Yeah, and some of, I mean, usually everyone's really good at what they do, and they're gonna make good shit. So like, it really depends on the host and the editing to make it interesting.
Yeah, the judges oftentimes make those shows too.
So
like, I mean, and you know, like Fortune Fire and like that.
Yeah,
I think they have a new one that's like beat the Masters or something. It's like maybe it's that show. I don't know.
Knife Fight with Goldberg. That's a spinoff.
So like, there's Moonshiners. I don't know if you're familiar with that show. It was this vaguely reality show about people making moonshine. Well, now they still have that show, but a lot of that cast is now judges on a moonshine making competition. So sense. You know, they just spun it off to keep it
going,
keep it fresh.
Yeah. But yeah, I would watch. I can't wait for more Alone. Shit like that is good. Another show I watch is a house makeover show, again with a twist. It has to have an interesting gimmick, right?
Sure.
That's what makes these shows. So people think their friend is very deserving of a house makeover because they're such fucking great people and they're so giving, but the house is trash, right? So they tell their friend that they're entering them into a free house makeover competition. And then they tell them, "Oh, I'm sorry, you didn't win. We didn't win." And then they do something to get them out of the house for a day to hang out.
And then they do it while they're gone.
In 12 hours, it's amazing. Like it's that's the thing. The crew gets the floor plan of the house. They interior designers, whatever, exterior designers to landscapers, and they come up with what they're gonna do, how they want to spruce this house up. It's almost like what's that fucking car show? What West Coast Customs? Whatever. With
Pimp My Ride
exhibit.
Yeah, Pimp My Ride. That's it. Except they don't put like a fucking.
That was all bullshit, by the way.
Okay.
All those,
Yeah, they didn't put a fucking ping pong table in your fucking trunk of your car or whatever.
Oh man, I wanted. Can you make me a Murphy bed, pull it out of the wall? That's also a ping pong table.
Popcorn maker in your console of your fucking car. But so like
excess.
They have their own like site, like that's their playground and they plan out how they're gonna do everything in 12 hours. You gotta watch them like, this truck has to be here at this specific time, and this truck has to like move this dirt.
That's horrifying to me. The logistics of that, because if one person's like overslept or
and sometimes they have to fix shit. Like they pre-built a whole bathroom add-on and moved it, and then like. When they got there, like the tiles were cracked, and they had to fucking replace the tile.
Oh boy!
Like before the person comes back. But that's the interesting aspect of it is seeing someone, much like a life-size diorama, plan out how to do something extreme and in short time, and like the logistics thereof. I really enjoyed that show for that aspect of it. That's because we watched Dead Space Let's Play last week.
So this is the remaster version?
Yeah, this remake.
It's a remake.
It's a remake. Yeah,
okay.
we watched.
I saw that it was out.
I think you would enjoy it. It's a
I thought about picking it up.
It's not open world, but like it's a good story, good game.
Yeah.
So we watched two different people. Two of the people watched on YouTube playthrough it because I quite enjoyed that game. So we went back to watch the animes. There's 2 of them.
Oh, I didn't know that.
One is a direct prequel to the first movie. I mean, the first game. like you watch the anime and it goes directly into the game. And the second movie is like that for the second game, which hasn't come out yet as a remake. But also, it's fine if you finish the first game and watch this movie. It's called Aftermath.
Okay.
Oh, there it is.
But I think they hold up. They're 10 years old, but the story is good enough, and the animation is really good. But except for the second one, it's like an anthology style, right? Mm-hmm. So they rescue 3 people from the ship, and then they're asking them to tell what happened, and slightly different. The main fucking animation is trash. It's like circa 2010, bad even for then 3D animation. Mm-hmm. But each individual person's stories themselves is really high quality anime, and they're all different studio. So
Really?
like, yeah, and I was like,
That's
that's smart because like each person sees things differently.
Exactly.
They're similar, but they're fucking different.
Yeah.
And I thought it reminded me of it was a Batman anthology and animated series like that.
Yes, it
Or
was
movie.
tied to the Nolan verse.
Yes, and I thought it was a very smart way of seeing like different people's perspective on Batman.
Yeah, it was
different.
It was cool, but it never felt like it was in the Nolan verse to me.
No,
You know,
no, it didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely more closer to whatever they have
the
going on now.
WB
Yeah,
in general. Yeah, I agree.
And that's it. Just,
WWW.
recovering, and of course, Monster Hunter. Been playing a lot of Monster Hunter this last week.
Christopher?
So I finished watching The Expanse for I think the 5th or sixth time.
That's
I fucking love that, man. It's
How many hours is that show? It's got to be at least like 40, right?
it's 6 seasons. I think the first 2 seasons are 15 episodes. It's 44 minutes because it was on TV for the first 2, and then I think 3, 4, and 5 are 10 episodes, and then the last season is 6. So yeah,
I couldn't keep up with the math, but it's a lot of hours.
It's a lot.
Because I'm only still in season 3.
I started reading a book, one of the books Sanjay sent to me. It's called The Butchering Art. It is about the man who essentially took surgery out of the Civil War battlefield era to more of a, using like discovering ether as a sedative instead of having to hold someone down when you cut their leg off.
Really
Ether. Fuck what you sold on ether.
That's that shit that makes your soul burn slow.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay,
Yeah.
Sure, I know what it is.
Yeah. Anyways, it's a horrifying read. I mean, it's almost like a horror book.
The amount of like
That show was bad.
medical technology and sophistication that has come out of combat is unparalleled.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
prosthetics and
This is
Plastic surgery.
Yep.
set in London, and it's telling this story of like the squalor people were living in London, and the fact that one line I read last night, it's
London, did you say?
London.
Hey, let's go over here. We're going to go do this.
Exactly. So
Oh, Cody, you'll live forever on in this fucking soundboard.
a doctor and a surgeon were different people. And a doctor was a white collar job, and a surgeon was much like a locksmith or a plumber.
Really?
Because it was physical labor.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And
Human body's just parts.
yeah, and they were, people were walking around. They'd work at a slaughterhouse. It's like they were slaughtering sheep. They threw them in a pit, which broke their legs, and then they killed them and did what they did with the meat and stuff. And those guys they wore the same apron to work every day, and wore it home. In their home may be a room about this big with 25 people living in it.
Wow. That's like where Willy Wonka, Charlie's family lived.
Yeah. Well, actually, I think they were like the Jeffersons of the time.
Every time I
based on
see
what
that
I'm
shit,
reading.
I'm like, God damn, fucking
Yeah.
Dire Straits in that bitch.
And like there were dead bodies everywhere because they had nowhere to put them.
Yeah, that's where
They
you
would
get a plague from.
Yeah, and at one point in time, doctors thought that pus was part of the healing process.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't realize it was sepsis. So
fluids.
this is I'm only a couple chapters in, but it is a fascinating read so far.
Yeah, like even like the way I saw a documentary about it, that wound care has changed since Iraq and then Afghanistan is night and day.
Really?
From just because they've gotten so proficient at it because unfortunately so many American soldiers have been hit that they've just gotten better and better and better at it, and the technology has gotten better and better at it as well. And like it's all goes back to the same set of circumstances. It tends to project that sort of technology in
massive amounts of injuries in a short amount of time.
Right.
Yeah.
Is it okay? I struggle with this in my mind. It's okay to stop reading a book because I think it's boring, right?
Just okay to
stop watching a movie.
Okay, because it's 1177 BC book. It's like I got about halfway through it. I'm like, I don't know. This isn't the kind of. It's not in a story format at all. It's almost like that Pinkerton book I read. It's almost just like a textbook. Mm-hmm. But it's funny because it's written like that, but then cleverly there'll be like some quips just dropped in every once in a while. I'm
trying to keep it interesting.
Why you need more quips to keep this interesting? I was watching some like YouTube. They're like Weird History is a channel I watch on YouTube. They do little like historic things, and they were talking about something to do with the Bible. I was watching one, and they were mentioning some of the people in this book. I'm like, Kelly, it's my book. So,
but not enough to keep reading.
Right. And I guess the other three things I have is crossover with you, Bobby. So you want to start with The Last of Us?
Sure.
Are you up to speed?
I am up to speed.
I did not care for this episode.
No, it was a little slow.
And I don't. So to tell you, Joe, it was a backstory of Ellie and her roommate
and how she gets mixed up with the Fireflies.
Her roommate joined the Fireflies, and then they went to an abandoned shopping mall. Mm-hmm. They thought it was clean, and ended up being one mushroom-headed gentleman that attacked them.
Mushroom-headed gentleman. I think most of us are mushroom-headed gentlemen.
Yeah. It was Goomba from Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah. He had just really big shoes and no legs. But it was a cool little like time capsule. They played Mortal Kombat 2 in an arcade, and there was a Mortal Kombat poster in their bedroom, I guess. And so it showed a little bit about how she was in this. I'm just going to call it a boot camp kind of situation to train you to be a guard or an officer for. What do they call the government?
Whatever the regular...
The government entity that the Fireflies are fighting against. Mm-hmm. And there was an Expanse actor, the guy who played Prax from Ganymede, the botanist, Asian guy. Joe.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep. Lost a daughter.
He's in this story. I'm like, it's Prax. And he's like,
did he get spaced? No,
he didn't. He ended up back on. Oh well,
he was going to get spaced.
Yes,
because like they told him that anyway.
Yeah,
that was interesting. You all get to go free now. We're gonna fucking rescue you, and then just fucking spaced everybody.
Inners go here. About the law to stay on ship.
Yeah.
So that was brutal. But I don't know. It didn't keep my attention.
Yeah,
like it wasn't as captivating. Kelly and I were sitting there watching, and I looked at her and said, is this good? She's like, I don't think it's really good. But I'm assuming there's some story beats in there that will...
I was right, though.
About which part?
Laura was right, technically, about the prediction of what this episode was going to be. That because at the end of the prior one, the dude gets shot or stabbed.
Poland is...
Yeah, and you said it was...
And I was like, but you in the next episode, they said, like, come in next week. One of those.
Yeah, I don't see those.
You didn't see him at all.
Yeah.
So I said that this probably is going to be a flashback in order to...
It sounds like probably a lot longer than in the game. Because you did get the flashback, but I don't remember it dragging out. And I remember it being necessary.
Yeah, so this was a little bit like maybe just like meandering through the mall and shit. And then like
that wasn't... Yeah.
Dealing with whether or not Ellie might be a lesbian. I got some of those vibes.
So her...
Is she a lesbian in the game?
Do you want spoilers?
Just a yes or no for that one.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So you find out in the second game.
Okay. So like they toy around with that, mm-hmm. and I wasn't sure if I was but like it makes me feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
Because I was watching, I was like, man,
you getting some
is
gay
it
vibes?
just me or is there some lesbian vibes going on here?
Yeah, I felt that the whole way through.
So I'm happy to know I'm not a creep.
No, yeah.
It's like a little girl, you know what I mean? Like, but anyway, and then getting through the mall, getting into the arcade, like I get it. You're playing Mortal Kombat 2. I don't need to see like multiple rounds and
like
learning
how to do fatalities.
They're dragging it out because they wanted to fill a whole episode space.
Yes,
probably could have been half an episode.
Yes,
but
easily,
they couldn't
easily. Or at least done the Maul bit in a shorter period of time, spent more time with her in that boot camp where we don't really understand those dynamics, explain that maybe a bit more, I would have found more interesting. But yeah, this has been the weakest one so far. I agree.
Yeah, I think so.
Still watchable and enjoyable, but definitely the weakest.
So, Bad Batch.
Yeah, Bad Batch of episodes, what I'm calling it.
So still bad? Okay.
So this was about the energy monster. I actually thought this was a
Monster Energy drink.
No, it's not that.
It's Kremzeek. Imagine Kremzeek
Annoying. Okay.
had sex with an alien from Aliens.
Oh, okay.
And their baby is the creature the Bad Batch face in this.
And then that baby had sex with an aardvark, and then that's what they have. But
I mean, it sounds interesting. You make it very interesting.
It's a callback.
You make a compelling fucking case.
It's a callback to a Clone Wars episode. I don't know if you realize. There was a whole arc about that creature. And the only reason I know that is I watched behind the scenes.
I got you.
On it.
I don't remember. My memory is awful.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of nuggets in there that are tying things together.
There's stuff I want to see that's related to that episode. It's just they don't go there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's like
they teased around it what you wanted.
All that stuff with their plans for cloning and all that. I want to know. Like they basically they have some of the Kimonians incarcerated.
Mm-hmm. The tall water people.
Yes, and
they have. I think is it Lamase?
They have
Mamasa.
Yeah, that's
Lamasa Lamakusa.
That's her full name.
Why did he say you're a vegetable?
To who?
In that record. You're a vegetable. You're a vegetable. You're a vegetable. And then a long time I was like, I don't know if he's saying you're a vestibule.
I don't know if that's better or worse.
Or vegetable.
Let's go to the tapes.
But anyway,
it's probably neither.
Side note, they have him locked up. The Emperor has interest in continuing cloning for his own secret, and maniacal purposes. Snokes and so forth, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
But at any rate, they don't get into that
yet.
They get into this fucking thing that I don't want to watch for fucking 20 minutes.
I thought it was fine. I mean, it's at the end, like Hunter was super, like he seemed super pissed about what they were doing, and that's why he said send it to Echo and Rex. So I think we'll probably get a little bit of a. I don't know how many episodes are in this season.
Yeah, is it?
I think it's 16. To be honest.
For fuck's sake!
I do find
mercy.
I do find it out they have 2 Star Wars shows going on at the same time that come out on the same day.
Yeah, weird.
It's like, why don't you throttle one of these back?
Yeah.
But saying that to say, The Mandalorian season 3,
the Mid-DeLorean.
Okay. So is that? Oh, hang on. Is that a DeLorean? But it's like a family sedan with 4 doors.
No, that's a different mid.
Okay.
Size vehicle. Yeah, it's just so dude, fucking trash. I'm sorry. That's how I feel about it. Like you spend the first fucking 5 minutes, like everybody kind of wants to get to the shits now. Mm-hmm. We spend the first 5 minutes fighting a sea monster. I don't care. I don't fucking care.
Season 1, we did that already.
Yes, season 2 we may have even done a bit. I think it may be season 2 we did it as well.
Maybe the same.
Season 1 literally starts off with fighting a sea monster.
Yes, season 2 we fight a sand monster.
Oh yeah.
Well, and in season 2 there's the scene when they're on the boat, and they have that sea monster in the boat when the Mon Calamari and all that.
Oh, yeah.
And it's very similar creature to.
Yeah, I'm just like, get to it already. And then like he goes and talks to the Viking.
The Viking, yeah.
The woman, the armorer.
Oh yeah.
And that's a boring conversation back and forth because they're like
it's the same thing again.
Yeah,
I thought they didn't talk anymore.
And they're both fucking. Like they're just uncharismatic in the helmets and everything. Like if there's no real performance, I think that's a part of it. As I'm getting into like man, what bothers me about this? And they're just there is a such and such. But it's like nothing comes.
To bathe in the waters underneath.
Yeah, nothing comes through. It just feels so flat. It just feels so flat to me. And then so he has to go to the waters of Mandor in order to get sorted. So he goes back to the planet that they all sort of started out in Navarro or whatever.
Yeah, Navarro.
And Navarro now is like
Navarro. Fuck Navarro. Anybody knows that?
Now it's like a thriving metropolis of sorts because Gregor.
Come on, man.
What's his name?
Well, it's High Constable.
Yes.
Grief Karga.
Grief.
Which it's Carl Weathers.
Yes, Carl Weathers. He is now taking control of it, and he's got it kind of up and running. There's trading going on. It's thriving a bit.
And I think they've done a good job of, if you look at what that city looked like, the first season, it was like a Wild West town. You were expecting to hear, wow, wow, wow.
Yeah.
But the second season, when Cara Dune was the marshal, whatever, it starting to come around.
Yeah.
And now you got street performers, and you got white C-3POs selling you and going and seeing stuff. And
they mentioned Cara Dune.
they do. That she had been recruited by the Republic.
Yes.
So I guess that means that they're either going to, that's it, when she's gone, or maybe they'll pull her back in.
And it's funny because I just saw this thing that said, it's like some meme that said the character will continue in some way. I don't know if that just means mentioning. Or
Prophet of the Faceless.
Yeah.
Yes.
Prophet of the Faceless.
Then there's like this standoff with these pirates. Then there's a long talking dialogue that doesn't really go anywhere between Carl Weathers and the Mandalorian. And then the Mandalorian goes off into space, fights the pirates, and then you think he's going to get captured by the pirates, and maybe that will move the plot forward, but that's not what happens. He just goes past them and flies away from them.
Hang on, don't skip over Swamp Thing. The head pirate
he's the
is
head
this
pirate.
guy. I mean, I don't know what race he is, but he literally looks like Swamp Thing. He's got plants growing off his face and
I
shit.
even like the Clone Wars pirates more. They're funny.
Yeah, so there's some of those characters,
Some of those species.
like the Nick-2s and all. They're out and about in the gang, but like even that dude,
the ones that look like dogs a little bit.
Yeah. The Swamp Thing reminds me of something more so from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Exactly.
Than it does,
It does.
from
they got different pirates.
I can only assume that bunch will play into the season later, because otherwise, why would you spend all the money to develop that dude and that build that set?
But it's like the same thing with that water monster. Like I doubt that that's going to come back, but that's a ton of money and resources.
Right. And honestly, I thought that while I'm watching this battle, it's like this was an expensive scene. And what's it? I mean, it's this weird kind of baptism.
Yeah, you see this rite of passage
thing.
for a young Mandalorian, which was okay.
And honestly, like, I guess in my mind, I'm like, is this showing like when Din Djarin got
I thought it was a flashback.
got it kitted up?
I thought it was a flashback.
Yeah, but we got to see the full arsenal of everything. And I read something that said all the weapons that the Mandalorians have are to fight the Jedi.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's exactly
pretty interesting.
And then
we go to the moon where
Bo-Katan is.
And I'll be honest with you, man.
I like Bo-Katan.
Just the way she's sitting in that throne, that was some gangster shit right there.
So it was fine.
Sulking in her palace with no one.
Did you watch the credits?
Oh, was there an after credit scene?
No, but did you watch the credits?
I know. I cut it off.
So the credits always takes place over like concept art.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And there's this one concept art of her sitting in the throne that I liked better.
Yeah.
It's like she's like kind of slouched in it, like with her feet, like she looks bored as opposed to like there's something like sexual and like, one leg up the way she had but it's a very tropey kind of throne pose, but she says that nobody respects her because she didn't have the dark saber.
Yeah. So
if he has the dark saber, she's like, you go fucking lead him. Basically, was like her attitude, which was fine. It was just like, it's like I don't know, man. It's just like it seems like so much wasted time to get
nowhere.
Something.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of things could have happened but just didn't happen.
And if this is supposed to be the last season, it's like
I don't think it is.
Get
man.
to it.
I think I read something that Favreau said this is like the middle of the story that they're going to tell. And look,
so this is like One Piece.
I think ultimately what the Mandalorian and it looks like probably the Bad Batch are setting up to do is make the fucking sequel trilogy make some sense. Like explaining.
I think the Mandalorian specifically.
This is exactly what they're trying to explain. Somehow Palpatine returned.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, now we're going to know how. It's cloning. He says cloning. It's a Sith something. I'm like, what about all those fucking clones from 20 years ago? Were those all? I guess they kind of were Sith, but whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's it for me. Just working on diorama stuff. We're having a sales contest at work where I can win a trip. So I've been doing some work on that, going out and working in the field a bit.
Just
seeing the world, seeing people, and experiencing that.
I'm just deleting our crossover event.
I did
don't call it that.
Twitch this week actually because Chris is on hiatus because she's on medical leave.
Why didn't you live stream the surgery, bro?
Right? I mean, it could have been good content, but yeah, I streamed a couple of days ago. Stream workout. Paul C came by, my fellow yellow. He said
In the chat.
yeah, he said he recently got Twitch and fucking came by. So thanks for the support.
Yeah.
He got to see me in my where he's never seen me before.
I bet.
My native fucking state, which is in booty shorts and shaking my ass.
Oh, so you did the
workout stream.
You did the workout stream by yourself. Yep. Okay. That's cool. You
saw a lot of me.
You should have, for comedy's sake, asked me or Bobby to come over and well, me especially, and like, no, that's not how you do that. Why are you sitting on that machine like that? Why are you thrusting your hips? What are you know those videos from like the people at Planet Fitness that are
that's what I do.
I know, so funny.
I watched Your Honor. I'm up to date with that.
Still good?
I don't know. It's still good.
You were worried about it.
I'm still worried.
Like Breaking Bad season 8, right?
It's just like, man, like
what's the give me the 2-sentence premise of that show?
Of Your Honor, of the whole show, or just
the concept? Yes. What's the blurb on the back of the DVD?
A judge's son accidentally kills a.
Okay, I got it. I know what it is now.
Mobster son.
I remember seeing when it first came out, like that exact setup.
Yeah. And the first season's incredible, but the second season is like it's almost getting a little too convenient for me. But like. I'm still in. It's still good. It's still full of like shock and awe, and like I'm just not sure they shouldn't have left it alone. I'll leave it at that. But I'm not sure yet. The jury is still out. You might say. You might say. I saw this Backstreet Boys laundry detergent commercial.
I am aware of this.
Have you seen it? I am not. I don't watch commercials. What was this?
So there's a
TV?
There's a woman, a mother, which is the old classic trope of doing laundry, and she is gathering clothes for the laundry basket, and on her child's wall is a poster of the Backstreet Boys, and she's saying something like, "What happened to this shirt?" or something, and then the Backstreet Boys on the poster go, "Tell me why."
Oh no.
And she's like, "Who are you guys?" And like, "Tell me why." And like all this shit. And then like the Backstreet Boys help her make the right laundry detergent choice. And then she's like, "Okay guys, bye. And they're like different band.
Yeah, they're like, "That's not us."
Yeah.
It's pretty clever.
That's
it's pretty clever.
And it's just like, wow.
But like, yeah.
Backstreet Boys.
So yeah. I want to talk
how
about
the mighty have fallen.
I want to talk about that a little bit. Well, first off, you say that they got paid to do that.
The fact that they needed it is,
dude, I don't know, man.
They needed it or wanted it?
Listen, does Samuel L. Jackson need to do Snakes on a Plane too?
No,
but the money's there.
But he's up front about it.
Well, and these guys, not defending the Backstreet Boys. What I wanted to talk about is you mentioned in our chat that the Big New Yorker pizza was back. You had seen an ad for it.
Yeah.
So it's so funny that you guys, and there's nothing wrong with this, obviously, live in this bubble where you don't see commercials.
Yeah.
And I see commercials. I just watch broadcast TV all the time.
Right. Yeah, but so you fucking pay for YouTube ads removal, whatever.
I know. That's because I get them. That's because I get them on Look, here's the deal. If I know a commercial's coming, that's fine. I can schedule my pee break around it.
Yeah.
But if it's like, I have to wait 30 seconds to watch this and then they're going to interrupt me 3 times. Anyways, it's just so funny that like, I was like, yeah, that pizza's been out. I can tell you who's in the ad and the song that goes with it. And
yeah,
he says, "Y'all hungry? You better be hungry."
So I only see television when it's on like a random one at work.
Yeah, yeah.
And I just happened to be at work. I saw that commercial, and then I saw the Big New Yorker, which I am going to get one.
Why don't we do that
for yourself?
We should do. I mean,
when?
Yeah,
just like
name it to organize it.
The only thing is, there's not that Pizza Hut that's super convenient to get.
No, you got to go down to the one by the porno store.
Oh well, there's also one in Eldersburg. So.
Yeah,
there's a brand new one in Eldersburg. The one in Mount Airy, they tore it down to be able to check-fill it.
Yeah, the one in Frederick, the one that's like I think technically closest to us. I'm just telling you for the listeners. The parking lot backs right up to the parking lot of a porno store that's shared with a scrub store. that,
just
that
over off
also
of-
shares the same entryway as a Jiffy Lube. It's just so Frederick.
Perfect.
It's so Frederick.
Is that over by Warehouse Cinema kind of over there? Yeah,
Yep,
yeah. I know what you're talking about.
So-
I don't guess I've ever noticed the Pizza Hut over there.
Fucking yeah, tell me the night.
Too spellbounded by the porno store. I told you about that one time. I know I've mentioned it on here, but that time I went to the porno store to like buy some porn or something to just spice up the evening, and and when I went in there, this transsexual person came in there that was obviously transsexual.
Okay.
Wasn't pulling any past me, I can tell you.
All right.
And went into the rooms, the viewing booths.
Oh, they still have those. The buddy booth.
And then about 8 minutes later, this construction worker dude pulls up, heads into the booth too, and I was like, oh my. I wonder what could possibly be going on back there. Probably just upstanding citizens doing the right thing and not violating any public lewd or nude laws, I'm sure. God, what a den of sin the viewing booth is. Have you guys ever jerked off in a viewing booth?
Yes.
I have too.
I have not.
You have not?
We probably jerked up on the same, maybe not the same booth,
Probably
but same-
have.
on Route 1.
So which one on Route 1? So for those that don't know, Route 1 and
Dates-
Route 1
dates-
goes from Maine to Florida.
Yeah.
There's a lot of porn stores on Route 1 from Maine
and
to
Laurel,
Florida.
obviously.
Dates and times,
Okay, so
boys. Dates and
the-
times.
the
See
one-
if there's any crossover here.
The one that
Did y'all cross streams?
the one that I went to was in Jessup.
Okay. Yeah.
That's not there anymore. It used to be by the
No.
flea market.
Yep.
The one in Laurel's still there.
Yes. That's
So I'll tell you a story. I was in a adult bookstore in Nashville years ago, and some friends and I were in there. We had actually gone up for a wrestling thing, and we went and found this porno store. It was in an old house, and like I remember walking around, and this was big VHS box days, right? And like this house had like a garden tub in the bathroom. They had like pornos all over, like displayed all over the place. Well, we had, we're I'm not gonna say finishing up. We were leaving, and I think we bought. Some of us were buying something. I don't recall what it was, but a guy was walking out of the booths with a backpack, and the guy at the counter says, "Hey, did you clean up this time? I'm not cleaning up after you again."
The old buddy booth.
Oh
Joseph.
man,
Yikes.
Buddy booth.
but yeah,
Get
Pete,
your troubles.
so the big New Yorker's back.
Or we can get it for lunch just for us for the show sometime.
Yeah, we could do that.
Somebody send us a Pizza Hut gift card.
I mean, someone sent us legit expensive ass pizza before. That shit was good.
yeah, that was good. The
Shout out
Detroit
to
style.
Matt B. That was good.
Which
shit,
is
man.
Pizza Hut style. Old Pizza Hut style.
Old Pizza Hut
Yeah.
style. And then the last thing that I have to mention is the dentist. So I went to the dentist this week, and I've been pretty consistent with speaking about my dental experiences here on Nerve Rage.
It's the most riveting part of the show, Bobby.
Yeah, well, it's a mouthful for sure.
Yeah.
So I went there
That was
and
a good one.
I went to a new place because my old place, the father who owned it sold it to his daughter. He's retiring.
Okay.
And the daughter had to renegotiate all of their insurance deals, and they couldn't afford my insurance.
Cheap ass.
Yeah, which sucks because I really liked that dentist.
Yes.
So we go high and low, Joe, and we find a new place. And Laura tells me she's already been. We haven't been in a year and a half.
Oh, that's a long time.
It's a long time.
Usually go twice a year.
Twice a year, and I'm pretty adamant about it. So, Laura tells me, it dawns on me yesterday. I'm like, I don't know where the fuck I'm going. So I hit Laura up and I was like, where is this fucking place? And she was like, it's Dr. Song. And I went, SONG? And she went, yeah. And then in my head, I went, I wonder if this is an Asian dentist. And that's fine, of course. But I've just never had an Asian dentist. And it just occurred to me, like, it's like
Bobby. It's not a strip club.
no, it's not. But it's just yeah, that's fair. But it's just interesting.
Dance from the Asian dentist.
It's just like how like
What if they were the same place?
you know how like you don't normally see like certain races in certain occupations or vice versa, and like
I'm not
like,
touching this.
But I'm just saying like we've talked about how like you
This
never
is talking
see,
directly to me, the Asian guy.
yeah because Chris said he's not talking about it. So like you never see an Asian homeless.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like just one of those things. And I was like, I don't know if I've ever seen an Asian dentist. And so I was like, let's see how it goes. So
I mean, teeth is just nails of the mouth, so.
Now you put water into a cup. it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot,
I can say that.
And listen, your teeth are the only part of your skeleton that you clean. Think about
true.
that.
That's
It's
true.
horrifying.
So
Deep clean my skeleton.
I get there. I walk in. There's a fat capital F, white capital W woman sitting at the desk. She passes me a clipboard with a pen to fill out, and then she says, "Do I have a mask?" And I forget COVID ever existed sometimes, so I'm like, no, I don't. And in my head, I'm like, but I bet you got one back there, bitch. And she did. And she gave me one. And she had hers below her nose. And I wanted to say, can I wear it like yours, or do I have to wear it properly? Which is like my favorite thing to say. To
Great
people,
first impression.
to people that make me wear a mask.
Yes.
But I didn't, because I was like, I might need a favor from this bitch. And I did.
Oh boy.
So I went through my wallet looking for my insurance
That's
card.
my insurance card, yep.
Can't find it.
It's usually people
I don't even know if now that I'm thinking about it, I don't even know if I have mine.
So I think I gave it to Laura. She denies it, but she had a dentist appointment recently. I think I gave it to her, but it doesn't matter.
So I've got my.
You should pick a health and a
I have my health insurance and my dental insurance usually.
I don't have my dental card.
Did your prescription card? People are like, the people hand me the health insurance card all the time. They're like, this is insurance. I'm like, no, it's different. You have a drug card.
I don't think I have a drug card.
You might not. Some cards are
Okay,
all the
okay.
info is on one card, but a lot of times it's not.
I have
Okay.
I have an HSA with a PPO, whatever that means.
So I go to
Fuck you, Anthem.
I'm like, fuck, I don't have it. And I'm like, man, I don't want to ask this woman. She already seemed irritated that I didn't have a mask. So I call my dental insurance provider. I can't get through to anybody. It's a nightmare. She overhears it and she's like, hey, I have your card. Your wife had it. Or she said, your wife gave me the information. I'm pretty sure she had it. But, and I was like, okay, perfect. And I was like, see, paid off. I didn't get nasty with this girl, and she's, it paid out for me. So good.
I mean, to be completely honest, being on the other side of the desk, it's true.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's ways I can get information, like if I want to go my way.
Right.
But if they're an ass, I'll make them fucking find a card.
Right.
I don't give a fuck.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm smart enough to know
So
that.
yeah, you know,
And I'm not very smart, but I'm smart enough to know that.
I mean, you're people smart though.
Yes.
Well, I think all of us have worked in customer service at some capacity to understand how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come in there swinging a hammer, you're gonna get
Jack
nothing.
more bees with honey than vinegar.
My mom loves that saying.
So some people never work retail. I think and that's the part of the problem.
So
Yep.
they call me back, and they're taking X-rays of my teeth to get a baseline.
The thing that goes around you, and you have to bite down on the fucking thing and the lead sheet over your chest.
So you'd think so, but they don't have that machine. So I have to bite down on this fucking thing like 38 times while they move the fucking.
They beam the shit out of your head.
Oh my god! I'm gonna. If I turn green and rip my shirt off, Joe, you know what time it is.
grown-ups in your brain.
I don't think it's the same energy, but
Oh, okay. Well,
It's not
whatever.
gamma rays,
I
no.
prefer it be. And
I just want.
But only in your head. Your head gets huge and a Hulk
so
like.
it's just my mouth.
Yeah, but your body's just normal.
You're like
I look like a caricature.
You're like the guy that had the metal teeth in James Bond.
No, I look like Tony Robbins.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
Oh, the Chad. You're the Chad meme.
You look like Tony Robbins on Family Guy.
I saw. Speaking of which, I follow this this Instagram page that I find quite funny. It's called Middle Class Fancy.
Sounds
I
great
might
already.
follow that one too.
And there's this one meme that it had like this white family, and they're all wearing like matching white t-shirts and blue jeans, and they're like all smiling ear to ear for this picture. And like the meme above it said like 7 tickets to Cocaine Bear, please.
Bro, I want to watch that.
I do too.
Like,
I intended to go see it, and it snuck up on me.
I mean, I've wanted to watch it since the announcement, but also now everyone who's watched it says this is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
So I really want to watch Cocaine Bear.
Yeah.
Is it racist of me to like look at it and like the first thing that came to my mind is like, are those Mormons?
No, but I saw a guy ride a bicycle off of a second floor apartment staircase down like a garden style apartment down the stairs, and then crash into the handrail that usually goes down the second set of stairs that builds up the grade from the terrace level on the bottom floor. And he was wearing a white shirt button up with a tie.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's probably a Mormon that just took a spill.
There's a guy on TikTok who he's a Mormon guy who, well, I say that he dresses like a Mormon guy and then he does stupid stunts on a bicycle. So it may be the same guy.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
So anyway, back to my teeth.
Yes.
So they're taking these X-rays, taking 1,000 of them. they explain to me it's because they don't have the machine. So I'm like, part of me is like, what kind of rinky-dink dentist office is this?
They can afford your insurance though, so
yeah. So then the dentist comes in during the midst of the
Dr. Song,
and it's Dr. Song, and Dr. Song is definitely Asian. And what's funny is he's kind of coming in and out of my room while I'm getting the things, and like I'm just looking at the ceiling, right?
Right.
And then there's like, and then she adjusts it. She adjusts it. She runs behind this wall. She's getting ready to do one, and out of my peripheral, I see Dr. Song like poke his head out like this, and then go whoop, and then poke it. And I'm trying not to laugh as this like, he's like one of those dentists got like, it looks like he's gonna put together a fucking necklace or something. He's got all these fucking
the jewelry stuff.
Yeah. And like he's like, whoa, and like, and I'm like, God damn, this shit's funny. I'm like, why is my life so entertaining to me sometimes? Like,
it only happens to you.
yeah. So then he went through my mouth, so to speak, and
Bobby,
and he told me all of the fucking things. You know, I'm not fucking flossing enough. It's never fucking good enough for the fucking dentist people.
It's been a year and a half, to be fair.
Yes, it has. No, I meant the wrong.
I remember you can flex because I remember one time. I don't know how long ago it was on air when you were like, I went to the dentist and told me you were just fine for once in your life. And you got to put that's in the books. That's the only thing. Time.
Yeah,
everybody gets one.
Yeah. So he did measure my gums.
Oh yeah,
I hate that. I've never had that done before.
Depth, yeah.
I'm passing, flying colors.
Okay. I'm probably not.
It sounded. I was thinking of you.
Long teeth.
You're supposed to be under a 3 or under.
Okay.
And one time, like he's like reading them out, and the woman's writing it down, the assistant, and he's like 3, 1, 3, and I went bow wow, and or 2, 1, 3. He said 2, 1, 3, and I went bow wow wow in my head. I thought of you. At any rate, they said, like, I don't know. I take pretty good care of my teeth. Because I do actually have some bad teeth in my family, like on my mother's side. Dude, I don't know if he said I had, when he read out I'm the cavity creep. Okay. That's who I am. I'm the cavity creep today. I feel like I'm like infectious. Like I shouldn't even be speaking to you guys without a mask on. All these fucking cavities are in my mouth right now. But I was like, do you see cavities? And he's like, oh yeah. And I'm like, how many? And he's like 6 and 2 possibles.
What? Like spades?
And I said, that's a good hand of spades. So anyway, he goes through the cleaning and all, but he's not really like scraping a lot of tartar on my teeth. Like I don't have a whole lot of tartar on my teeth. So I'm like, how is this like the least invasive dentist appointment I've ever had, but I have so many cavities? And I'm skeptical of people. I always think people are trying to get over on me. They got to fucking hustle. It's money.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do about it. But I say that to say this. I keep cracking the assistant up. Another Asian lady. And I think they're related. And
that's racist.
It is, but they seem to have a connection.
Their interaction was...
Yes, their interactions seem like family. Like, or it could be wife. Husband, but she keeps laughing at my jokes because I keep cracking them. And at the end, he was like, do you want a fluoride treatment? We recommend it. And I was like, well, why are you asking? And he was like, because insurance doesn't usually cover it. It's like a $20 charge. And I was like, well, what does it do? What is the purpose of fluoride? He's like, well, it prevents cavities. And I was like, well, no sense in doing it now, is there? And she starts laughing.
Wow.
And he was like, what do you mean? And I was like, all these things I got going on in my mouth, and like it's going to prevent what are we 8? You know, if it's 8 and not 6, or what are we preventing? And he was like, all right, well, maybe next time. And I was like, maybe. And went on about my day. But yeah, that was not great news that I got yesterday.
Well, at least the good news now is the cavities like are pretty good. Like I think when they give you shit that looks like your teeth, you can't even tell they're there.
I want the silver.
The one that Japanese
I don't know if
thing
they
that
even
you
offer that anymore.
See, it's a shame. Like,
what's that shit called? You like that shit? The Japanese things where they use the gold to fix cracks or whatever.
I can't think of the name of it.
Yeah. You want that?
You know why I want that? Because I want to live in my shame.
You just
That's
like little
fair.
silver pieces. Like,
yeah, it's a
2 possibles in your mouth.
Yeah, it's a public shaming. It's me saying to the world, I didn't do right. I should have done better.
Or it's just
and
genetic.
it's a message to kids saying,
Fucking scarlet letter over here.
it's a message. It's a message
But
to
you just get cavities.
it's the silver letter. It's the message to kids saying, take care of your teeth. You're going to be fucking looking like old Trap Jaw over here.
They won't because they have the new technology now. It's fine.
Yeah.
They're just gonna scare them. But I tell you that though, like I definitely notice fillings when I watch porn and they oh, that's a lot of fillings in this mouth.
Yeah. And that concludes my nerd week. So I'll go ahead and get into notes, which there are only 2.
How many did Phil put in though? Is the question.
Probably 17 or 18. Anytime that Phil, I love you, Phil, but anytime Phil puts in something like, Screen Rant suggests that there may be a sequel to such and such coming. I'm like, maybe, but what are we going to talk about that for? So anyway, the SAG Awards, which always makes me think about True Romance once again coming up. But when he's like, when that guy like figures out that his assistant dined him out to the cops, and he's like, "How the fuck do you know his name? How in the fuck does he know your name? You little piece of shit!" And his lips look just like that. And he's like, "I treated you like a fuck." No, he's like, "You can forget about acting for the next 20 years. Your fucking career is over. Take your fucking SAG card and burn it, you little cocksucker. I treated you like a son. You fucking stabbed me in the back. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you." And then the whole fucking thing pops off. But that's what I always think of when I hear SAG card.
All right.
Anyway, I'm trying to see if this lists it in any meaningful way. Yes, motion picture cast. The winner was Everything Everywhere All at Once.
That's the favorite right now.
Male actor in a leading role, Brendan Fraser in The Whale. I'm proud. I'm happy for him.
Favorite, yeah.
I saw a interview with him on Howard Stern recently, where he was talking about.
Howard Stern's still around?
Yeah,
So he's talking about the Batgirl villain piece.
Yeah,
that was interesting stuff.
And he was talking about how he was proud of the role when it got shut down, and that he was talking kind of about it like he was kind of sad. He was talking about how he went from kind of being the star to what did Jay-Z say about Nas? I told you there's a Hove line for everything. Fell from top 3 to not mentioned at all. But and he said he was happy that for once in his career somebody was actually tipping their hat to him for his chops, and it happened to be for The Whale. So I'm happy that he got that. Female actor in a leading role went to Michelle Yeoh for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Actor in a supporting role went to another young lady from Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Fair enough.
Female actor in a supporting role went to Jamie Lee Curtis for Everything Everywhere All at Once. God damn. Stunt ensemble went to Top Gun Maverick. Television series ensemble went to The White Lotus. Dude. Great show. Comedy series went to Abbott Elementary.
Great show.
Never seen it.
I like it.
But I'm interested. Male actor in a television series, Sam Elliott in 1883. Female went to Jessica Chastain for George and Tammy. Male actor went to Jason Bateman for Ozark. Female actor went to Jennifer Coolidge for The White Lotus. Dude.
Perfect.
Male actor in a comedy series, Jeremy Allen White for The Bear. Female went to Jean Smart for Hacks.
I haven't seen any. I know what those are. I've never seen them.
And stunt ensemble in a TV series went to Stranger Things.
Oh, okay. Makes sense.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And that is that. So congratulations to the winners. And then
the Asians.
Now I think a lot of people in the industry put a lot more weight into that award than we probably do as non-industry people, because it is literally your peers are voting for you.
Yeah.
Instead of the Golden Globes, the foreign
and the
press or whatever, and who the hell even understands an Oscar
and all that shit, man. Golden Globes, fucking Grammys, fucking Oscars. I mean, all that shit is political. It's all who's tied to who, and just like they said about that Beyonce record.
She won too many times already.
That she had won too many times, or she was winning too many that night or something, and they wanted to but it's okay, so that's not based on, and I'm not a fan of that record, but shout out to Travis, he's a fan of it, but I'm not, whether or not I like that record is irrelevant if the overall feeling was this is the best record of the year and you're not giving it just because of some other arbitrary reason.
Yeah.
That's
right.
bullshit.
Yeah.
But anyway, then there was the Marvel Legends reveals, along with a clue as to the next HasLab is going to be a Marvel Legends theme HasLab.
I want Clue figures. Colonel Mustard.
Hasbro owns the
Scarlet.
rights.
So original creations or based on a game presentation or the live action movie?
Or the box art for the original game.
Oh. All of them, like turtles.
Hey, yeah.
What if Clue just was the fuck out of here, just took off, and they could do Clue figures?
I mean, I would want the movie version just so I can have what's his face.
You've already answered that wrong, but you're thinking Tim Curry, I'm guessing,
Yes.
but you've answered that wrong.
I know. I fucked up. That's why I went.
Miss Scarlet. Miss Scarlet is the only figure to get because she was fucking hot in that fucking movie.
Or you have to get a Hot Toys version where the clothes come off with a seamless fiking body.
I don't need all that. I'm good at just appreciating what clothes
It's seamless.
But yeah, I wouldn't buy a 6 scale, but I would buy a 1/12 scale from my movie shelf of Miss Scarlet.
Just her?
Just her.
Without the whole
Just her.
Bro.
Just her. I don't need the whole cast. Just her.
You have some like really side characters up in that bitch, and you won't get the whole crew.
I do,
the
but
whole
I'm
Clue
running
crew?
out of space.
The what now?
The Clue crew.
Gotcha.
Clue crew. And then
And they would come with accessories. They each come with like one is
one of the
pipe, one is a
weapons.
fucking candlestick, one is a gun.
What's a Build-A-Figure?
The mansion. and then you can play.
each
you
one
play
comes with one room.
Yes, and you can fucking put them
And then you
together.
can
Like one of those old...
Dude, why would we sell this idea?
Listen, like one of those old... Didn't Diamond do some shit like that with the X-Men figures with the Danger
Yeah,
Room?
with the Danger Room.
You could do that, and then you can play the game. They don't have to be fucking 1/6. They can be one fucking.
Let's get
they don't
to
have to be 1/12. They can be
3 3/4.
and then you can literally play a game, and then you can rearrange the room.
Yes, there'll be modular.
Okay, so now we've created a tabletop Clue game using 3 3/4 action
and modular build.
I'm glad you know Blender. Me and Bobby can do the
do know.
dioramas, and we're good to go.
Yeah.
I actually, this started out as just a joke, but it's not a bad idea.
It's not a bad idea.
Prophet of the Faceless.
But yeah.
Marvel Legends.
Marvel Legends.
Sorry, I side rail.
It was
Oh, side
1963 is the Clue. Avengers 1963, which is like the relaunch, I think, of Avengers, or a lot of the reveals were all from the animated series.
Yeah, like the Aunt May and Doc Ock.
That as
those
well.
VHS packs.
I want that Aunt May, but I don't want the Doc Ock.
I don't.
And I want to paint her hair gray. Why would you make a blonde Aunt Gray?
Well, I think it maybe
Aunt May.
Aunt May.
Yeah.
So the Clue crew discovered that Aunt May is gray.
Yes.
Bars. So. Was that how she was presented in the animated series?
Maybe.
That's
Maybe.
because that's what those are based upon.
Yeah, I would just
remember.
like gray-haired Aunt May.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they all look fine. There's nothing really exciting about them other than they're doing the animated series stuff. But like,
Yeah.
I don't know what so my only question is it going to be a line of figures, and then that might put me one step closer to getting my pod race assortment, which is like, one of my dreams that HasLab does a pod race assortment with just the drivers, and I get to get a Ben Quadineros.
Oh my god.
No, you know that name, but you don't know no key grip names.
Yeah, or enough information to pass a promotional test at work. But I know who Ben Quadineros is.
Perfect amount of usage of your brain space.
I wish I could go in and change the files, like delete certain shit and like save other shit.
Yeah, overwrite, please.
Yeah. But Ben Quadineros is locked in. And other side,
Dumb.
and other side news, I found out my brother took a plea deal.
Oh, I thought he didn't.
He wasn't. He said he wasn't, and he
I
kept.
thought they kept offering.
Well, I guess they offered him one that he liked, so he gets sentenced on March 20th. And I think it's a minimum of 4 and a maximum of 15.
That's not bad.
No, but
it could have been a lot worse.
Specifically, if it's on the 4 end.
Yeah, I mean, just because you have the low range, you aim for that.
I don't think Florida has the minimum half. Like, if you get sentenced to 10 in Maryland, you got to do 5. And then you can start.
I don't know.
Then you can start working to get out.
Probation.
Yeah. But
Parole.
Yeah, exactly.
Last time I had jury duty, they told us, they said the majority of cases, if there's a deal on the table, when the plaintiff comes to court, that's when they're like, okay, this is real. Please give me whatever you will offer me. I don't want to go to federal pound me in the ass prison if I can avoid it.
Right. Because I mean, like, and oftentimes if you say no to the deal,
It gets worse, right?
they will throw the fucking book at you.
Yeah, because they want to save. I think they want to save time. Also, like,
Yeah, exactly.
You're wasting the time.
Exactly.
It's like, fuck you. Then waste your time.
This incident that my brother is in a pickle for happened November, I believe, 2019.
Holy shit!
Has he been in? Has he been out?
Yeah, he's been out.
I didn't know
He did like 4 months or something initially, and then he got out, and he's been out ever since.
Does he have to check in?
On the loose. I don't know. I can't
That's
say.
weird. Wait,
I don't think he's been drug tested from pictures I get of him from time to time. But
Maybe he's just high on life.
maybe. Also, the one thing I was going to mention here, I wasn't sure if I was going to mention it or not, but I think I am because we have fucking tons of time. I was talking to Chris about it. So I got a text message from Jack. Shout out to Jack, my New Zealand friend. And he was like, he was like, oh my God, Joe makes a SARS joke in 2019 before COVID. That's funny as shit. Like in hindsight, you know.
He remembers that? Holy
No,
shit.
he was listening. He was going back.
Okay.
And he said, in ironically, it's the first episode after Adam left.
Huh.
And I was like, what episode is that?
Yeah.
And he said 213.
Holy shit.
So I went back and listened to 213.
I remember the day.
Yeah. And I listened
Way back when 213 was the clip.
Bow wow. and first of all, we handled it very maturely. Mm-hmm. But then I went back and listened to 212.
Okay.
Because I wanted to hear if I could figure out where the cut was.
Okay.
And I 100% could. So if anybody wants to go back and get a little bit of Nerd Rage history, it's episode 212.
Lore.
It's around, I think,
The lore of Nerd Rage.
it's around the 34-minute mark
On 212.
on 212. And it's the cut back in
It's awkward.
is me saying, all right, Joe, how was your Nerd Week? That's the cut back in. But do you know what the argument spawned over?
Was it not Star Wars?
No.
Surprisingly enough.
Nope. And I couldn't remember. That's more part of the reason why I was like, I want to go back and listen to it. It was over comedians. Okay. That's where it started. Huh. And the conversation was based around, is David Chappelle the greatest of all time?
Wow.
And I said in that argument I said in that discussion that I wouldn't argue that. But what I always struggle with is calling someone the greatest that stands on the achievements of forefathers. So like, in the example that I brought up in it is, at what point can you say that Tool is the greatest band, or not even the greatest band, but at what point can you say Tool is better than Pink Floyd, which is like, I would say their predecessor, you know, like their 70s version. You know, and even though, but they're standing on, like, if there was no Pink Floyd, would there be a Tool? You know, and that sort of logic, and it was just a back and forth. And where it went left is, he said, I believe that everything is quantifiable. And you say bullshit. That's bullshit.
I remember that specific. I didn't remember. That's what I said that, but I remember that.
And then I said that I agreed with you, and he said, well, I do think that everything is quantifiable. And you said, well, I don't. And then I said, well, there's a fundamental difference in how we view that. So we probably shouldn't even explore this anymore.
But we did.
And then I said, we probably are not going to like the way this ends.
Yeah, I remember you said that. I remember you said that.
And then at a certain point, I get frustrated and I say, fuck it, let's do it. And then I guess it started going in that direction. And then at a certain point, it gets cut. And then it cuts back in with, well, anyway, Joe, how was your Nerd Week? And
interesting.
It was.
I remember that conversation. I just remember it was that episode.
I suggest if either of you have like a half hour to kill,
I'm going to
go back and listen to 212, because it is interesting. And then he's on the episode for like another half hour or so, and then he leaves early.
Yeah, he does, yeah.
But he had to leave early. It wasn't because he had to leave early anyway.
Yeah.
But it was interesting. And then it made me go back and like look at some of like the messages around that time. I like took a walk down memory lane.
Yeah. Because you got dates and stuff,
and was looking at like, you know, like his resignation letter and all that, and it just got me to and like seeing even like the looking at it now. Well, for one, I got to say, I think one of the reasons why I never went back and listened to it was because I didn't remember myself. I didn't remember being the cause of it.
It was me.
And well, no, it's not as good. It goes back to subjective versus objective. It goes back to what is art. It goes back to a lot. It goes back to what is art.
We used to argue about subjective a lot.
And And I was reluctant because I didn't want to go back and then listen to it and be like, fuck, I fucked this up. You know, like I just like, it's like sometimes like I don't want to check to see if it's in my backpack. I just want to assume it's in my backpack because if I check and see and it's not there, then I know it's missing.
It's why the bathroom's the scariest place for you. You'd rather not know.
I'd rather not know. So, but I did, it's been long enough. And, you know, I was proud of myself just that I was able to say we shouldn't do this.
Yeah.
You know, I saw it.
Saying that.
I saw it. And then I was looking.
I was crazy till I was right.
And I was looking back at the text message, like the group chat text message conversations around that same time.
Often.
Yeah. And I was reading through them, and I was like, damn, man. I was like, there's so much in there that's like I noticed, but I should have been more aware of.
I mean, that's kind of hard.
But it's interesting to go back.
It's much easier to go back and see
100%. But it's like going back and reading it with like a 2022 lens was
2023 now.
20. Sorry, yeah, you're right.
In March of 2023.
Yeah, you're right.
Happy New Year.
It was interesting.
Yeah, but I cannot tell the difference between New Zealand and Brooklyn accent.
Huh?
So this is an ongoing thing because like Sailor Moon, the animated dub, which like we watched a while back in the background while we're doing shit because you know we grew up with it. There's a character on there that has one. I don't even know now. One or the other, right? And I mentioned, let's say it was New Zealand. Just say it's a New Zealand Australian accent. I'm like, man, why did they give this like Japanese schoolboy like a Brooklyn accent? And like everybody in the room turned around and was like, that is not a Brooklyn accent.
I've heard that before.
That's Australian or New Zealand, one or the other. I'm like, what are you talking about? That's exactly a fucking Brooklyn accent. But they all shit on me for it. And so I was talking about watching the tattoo show this week. There was a lady on there. I'm like, oh man, that's a crazy Brooklyn accent she's got. And then Chris was like, she's from New Zealand. And I don't know why I get those two mixed up, but it did end up that she is from New Zealand, but currently works in New York. I'm like, aha! She immediately picked up a New York accent from New Zealand. Yeah. And I'm not wrong.
What bugs me out is I'm always curious. I've never been able to get a straight answer out of you, but whether or not when your internal dialogue is in an accent.
I can't tell. Well, I can't tell because I know to have an accent, especially when I listen back,
right?
Or when I get excited, it comes out. I can feel it in my mouth. But on a day-to-day basis, I don't think that I have an accent, right? Oh, I don't notice it. But I mean, that's a good question for people who have really heavy accents.
Yeah, thick accents. Yeah,
if they even think in English or not. But yeah, so can you guys tell the difference between Brooklyn and New Zealand, or is it just a fucking?
Yeah.
Do they not sound similar?
Not to me. Now, New Zealand and Australia.
Obviously, they're neighbors.
Yeah.
Right,
but right.
There's something wrong with my fucking ears then.
Yeah. That's strange. We do have just a handful of questions. Remember, if you'd like to send a question in.
You can email us at nerdrageradiomail@gmail.com.
Also, like, it's crazy how fucking time flies because it doesn't seem that long ago, but shortly, not I mean, probably within a year, we're gonna be double the episodes than when Adam left. Yeah. There's gonna be 212 episodes since then. That's fucking crazy to me.
Yeah, it is. It does.
That moment where there's been more without him than with him, it would be just a weird feeling. So there are just a lowly 3 this week. Shane G said, "It's been a minute."
Oh boy.
Yo, good evening, Ragers. It's a long one, so we have time for it.
Yes.
Buckle up. It's been a while since I've written in, but something that Bobby was talking about a couple weeks ago struck a chord, and I just had to write in about it. Bobby was talking about how there are people in his life that he considers friends that if he never reached out, invited them over, he may never hear from them again. I know this feeling so well. Me and my wife were having the exact same conversation the other night about the people we have in our circle of friends. Our house tends to be the gathering place for everyone, and we never understood why till we dug into it. For starters, our house is a fantastic spot for entertaining. Nice open floor plan, big kitchen and living areas for people to sit and talk, nice screened-in back patio when the weather is nice. He said, please press the flex button. You got it. Flex! But then we started thinking about the group we normally have. One guy works a lot being an ER doctor, so his schedule is nuts. Dude, shout out to you for having rich friends. Another guy will come over by himself without his wife most of the time, but he has to be invited and will never invite us to his house because they know I like things to be nice and comfortable temperature-wise, and his house feels like Santa's asshole. But I'm okay with this.
Wait, is that hot or cold though?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I'm guessing cold.
Maybe it's either way. It's a drastic swing.
But I'm okay with this mainly because I can only handle his wife for about 5 minutes once a year. Another couple lives in an apartment, so space is limited. These are the main couples we tend to hang out with, or some variation of that group. Then we thought about other folks that had the same, that have come and hung out. Prime example, pube infidelity guy.
Yeah, that's something for you to look up if you're new to the show.
Yeah,
He said-
what episodes that's a great saga.
Which, quick update, with a lot of therapy and groveling, him and his wife were able to get to a better place and welcome a new baby girl into their lives. Well, I'd love to hear it.
Maybe. Let's see how that shakes out.
What about the pubes? Are they still?
They're still wanted. They are one of those couples that if we would invite them to our house before all the insanity, we would have never heard from them. And there's a few other couples in that same group, but all in all, we come to terms with the fact that that's okay, and we enjoy the crew we got that we can hang out. Chris, Skinamarink isn't something in Louisiana, sir. That's some Arkansas shit.
Hang on, let me see how he wrote it.
Down there at the bottom.
I don't remember even. Okay,
Yeah, Skinamarink.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
And he said, "Stay frosty, spell table." You know, I had a lot of people write in about that conversation, about not feeling like a part of something really, and always feeling like you kind of like are welcome in all these other places. And you know, it's funny. It has rung a bell with a lot of people.
I think it's a life stage, maybe.
It could be, yeah, because I don't think most people, at least as you know, as I get into my 40s and shit, most people kick it like that. You know what I mean? They just they get in their recliner and they call it a day.
And they,
you know?
and they have their own families and shit
Yeah.
to deal with and hang out with.
I mean, I actually screenshotted this a while back. I figured it would come up in some. You know, we talk a lot about like friendship and you know, not people falling in and out of each other's lives, and
It's a lifestyle podcast in many ways.
It is. But I mean, I just screenshotted. There was some music that went with it that was inconsequential. But it's some of the best memories I have are with people I will never say another word to again, and that's okay. I'm at peace with it. And I think about that all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I like. Some of the literally best things I think about fond memories. I'm like, there's people I don't talk to, and I necessarily wouldn't want to talk to, but just those experiences are just
No regrets.
valuable. Yeah, no regrets.
I think the acceptance part comes with age. I think when we were younger, because we were closer to the age where we all did kick it all the time, you miss that more than now. It's like you've been through so many of these groups or people that it's just part of life is transient.
I mean, you think
in America at least.
You're right, and you think about like people you hung out with. Then there's always that person in your crew that if they're in a relationship, you're not going to see or hear, but it's like Mike came back around. I guess him and Susie broke up.
Yes, there are people like people shit on those people. Like
I used to have a name for those people. I'd made up a name for people who did that. I can't think what it was.
My friends used to hate. They loved Laura, but they hated her because like I was never around at night.
She stole you.
Yeah, I was always around during the day. Like I'd be over at this place we used to hang out called The World. I'd be over at The World all the time. But around like 6, 7 o'clock at night, I'd be like, all right, guys, I'm out. And I would go wife up for the night. And my buddy Shane used to always say let me guess, the girl. Like it was like this,
I think just jealous. And personally, why wouldn't you want a girl to go home to instead of fucking hang around and
I mean, but I missed some good shenanigans. But I got probably the best thing that's ever happened to me.
And you probably also missed out on some opportunities to get in trouble.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's because America's so big also. Because like when I went back to Hong Kong, that's one notable thing because I recognize how small it is. Because all the tall buildings and shit, you don't see very far, right? And you take subways or cabs or whatever to go everywhere, and there's a lot of names of like, I don't know, town districts. So like in my mind, it was really big. But like when I took a walk down like one of the main streets, I walked by like 6 districts. I'm like, every 6 buildings a district. Hong Kong is fucking tiny.
Really?
Yeah, it's really fucking small, right? And then,
I want to argue with you, and that seems silly. You were just there, and I've never been.
Yeah, because I went up to this.
You didn't see that.
I went up to the top of this mall, right? That was like 4 stations, like train stations away from where the house, the place I was staying, and I could see it. I could see the building. I'm like that's 4 stations away, but like in America, it would be like half a station away.
Yeah.
But to say this, people have childhood friends forever there because it's not hard to fucking just keep in touch and see people.
Yeah.
And especially with good ass public transportation, and people stay up later there. But here, well, I went to method boarding school, but even in regular high school, after high school, people go off to different places in college, and after college, you go get a job somewhere else. Just being transient migratory is normal in America, where, like you said, even if someone just moved half an hour away, it seems a world away.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
To see them.
Yeah.
I think that's part of the reason why culture is this way. It's just land is too big.
Yeah. And I think that like I feel the same as you, except I do. There's some people that I'm okay with never seeing again, but most of them I do miss.
I mean, yeah,
I do want to see them again. I do want
but at the end of the day, you know that your station in life now. I look at it this way. I know where some of those people are and what they're up to. And would I like to hang out with them one night? Yeah, but is that going to end good for anybody? I don't know.
Yeah,
just keep I always say never try to relive your memories, because you're always going to be disappointed, because you've made it out to be something in your head that it probably really isn't.
Well, it was at that point in your life.
It was, right. But
people change. Like, as much as like I also like to say myself, well, used to anyway, that I'm stayed the same. People like to stay the same. Oh, I'm the same person as I was. We all changed. Man.
We all change.
We all fucking
it's
changed.
just part of.
Yeah. So like even seeing those people again, even if you're having a good time, it's not the same. I think it's not the same person you're remembering.
I think as a 40-year-old person, if you haven't changed, then I think you're missing out.
Yeah. Paul C wrote in and said, "I think
I told him right in. He did good.
I think he's actually asked us this question before. But what foods from your childhood did you feel were super fancy and only for special occasions, but when you were an adult, you realized they were really nothing special?" So I know what mine is, but I don't know the name of it. But it was a pound cake that used to come like in a tin foil container, and like you peeled the top back, and it was like a whole pound cake sat in there, and you
sounded familiar,
and
but
you like
I can't
kept it in the freezer or the refrigerator. Let me see if I can find it.
Well, I'll tell you what mine was. I thought those Pepperidge Farm cakes that are in the freezer were the fanciest thing in the world, and now it's like I'm gonna have one of those for dinner.
Dance cookies. The blue tins where everyone keep all their fucking sewing kits.
Yeah.
Like maybe it's just the container itself, or Ferrero Rocher. I think maybe also because of the container. Like as a child, I thought those things were.
Those are advertised like it's a premium thing.
Yeah, it's like
you see, you see the man like making them.
Sara Lee.
Yes. Exactly what that is.
Yeah.
Nobody does it like Sara Lee.
I used to feel like nobody did, because that shit only would come out like on Christmas.
I'm
and
trying
I'd
to think
like,
of anything else.
Living high off the hog.
My one of my aunts made this. It's a sweet. I don't even know how it's called. Divinity. It's a
sounds divine.
It's like a sugar candy. It's very light. But the only time I ever saw that was at Christmas, and no one ever mentioned it otherwise. I'm like, this must be some fancy
eggnog. It's fancy.
No, it's not.
It was fancy to me. I think just like toys, man. Scarcity makes something special, whether it is or not.
Did seasonality make things seem more special? Like eggnog only comes out.
It happens at certain events, certain gatherings where there's people, and then only once a year you fucking get it. So
I think about, not to divert off the topic, but just a bit. I think about, like, I have all of these like porcelain Halloween decorations.
Okay.
And I used to think they were like regional, like to flea markets around here or something, because I'd never seen anybody else with them. But like I Googled them one year to see, and like they were everywhere.
Yeah.
And like I'm like, where the fuck did shit like that go? You know what I mean? Like, why is everything with Halloween, seasonal in terms of seasonal things? Like this like styrofoam fall apart bullshit, and instead like there's like it's hard to find these like.
It's because they want people to spend money every year.
Yeah. More and more commercialized.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Consumerism,
yes, but you can still get like nice Christmas shit.
Sure,
All
right. Anyway. Hey, listen, let's start a Kickstarter.
Yeah. And then our last one, another long one. But right week to do it. This is from Broken Pixel. What's up, Spell Table?
Hey, it is Spell Table. Broken Pixel is who I play spell table with.
There you go. I was listening to the back catalog of 2022 and heard
Everyone's listening to the back catalog.
You people not have anything better to do.
maybe the new shit's not that great.
I like 2022 was by far their best.
It was a good year.
It's been downhill since then.
I was listening to the back catalog and heard Bobby doing all the classic Disney film overviews. These aren't all my ideas, but here it goes some. Starting with Peter Pan. Brilliant film. There's wisdom in there we want to teach children, but it's encoded. Forget everything about the natives for now. It's not important to the narrative. The story is about why it's important to grow up. Peter Pan is an eternal child. Pan means everything. It represents the limitless potential of children. Growing up means you have to let future possibilities die so you can be molded into something. But the trade-off is that wonderful potential. But you'll grow up whether you want to or not. You don't have a choice. That's represented by Hook and TikTok. Pan doesn't want to grow up and be like Hook, who is a tyrant and terrified by the metaphorical dragon following him around with a clock in its belly. The crocodile is time itself. Yeah. Hook's terrified because time is going to get him, and it's already got a piece of him. It's constantly following him, and eventually time will eat you. Then there's Wendy. Wendy is a representation of how women inevitably shape boys into the men they become. God, I guess that's Laura in my case. We want to become competent enough to attract a mate. If left alone, we stay eternal children. Mm-hmm. Some of us more than others.
Yeah.
Pan has to choose between a real girl, Wendy, and a metaphysical fairy, Tinkerbell. The problem with her is she's not real. She's a substitute for the real thing. The moral of the story is that you have to sacrifice the potential of childhood and accept a path to become something. Because if you put off maturity for a while, it's okay. But if you're 30 and you're still living at home and no job experience, you're not limitless. You're not the limitless potential anymore. If this lands well, I'll do Lion King and Pinocchio because they're also wise and important tales. Beauty and the Beast is also a good one for raising daughters. Peace, Ryan, please.
I love that. That was
fucking awesome.
Bars, bro.
You should start a YouTube channel.
Yeah, we could have just done that on YouTube, bro. You would have got views,
Breaking down Disney.
Yeah, that was great.
That's fucking great.
Yeah. I wanted to say, there was something else I wanted to say.
I have something.
Yeah.
I recently started wearing glasses.
You have.
And I know lots of people wear glasses. I have 3 people in my 5-member family. Shout out to Frosted Flakes is the last survivor that's not wearing glasses.
Mm-hmm. Bloody 4 eyes. You know what I mean?
And I know plenty of people who wear glasses, but I never hear anybody bitch about how fucking hard it is to keep these clean.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
it's always like impossible.
I mean, you notice all the time. People with glasses always just fucking rubbing the shirt and shit.
Kelly buys these little packs of wipes. I don't know if it's like alcohol or something. Just for they're literally for cleaning glasses. Yeah. But it's like, holy shit, I had no idea.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think I'll clean them and I'll put them on. I'm like, why does the TV look foggy? I'll take them off and they're just brutal. So shout out to people who've been wearing glasses all your fucking lives.
Yeah, dude.
Contacts, bro.
Bunch of 4 eyes. You know what I mean?
Bunch of nerds. Reach my full nerd potential in year 46.
Yeah, I have a fun weekend plan this weekend.
Oh, no.
And this is like before, and I'll talk about it after as well. But so Laura and I didn't get to do anything for our anniversary because we were going to do it this weekend. And originally we were going to do some really weird, sexy shit. Nice. But we decided not to.
Was it like Maryland Crab related sexy?
It's not season.
It's out of season.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah.
A couple of months.
So instead, we're going down to Tyson's. In-laws are taking the kids and dog, and we're going to
just call them all the kids.
Yeah,
that's fine.
We got a hotel room at the Ritz, which is connected. You know, and which always makes me think about the little Pepsi can in Golden Child. If you remember, it like danced, like came to life because the kid made it dance, and it dances to the Ritz.
Yep.
Anyway, we're gonna just shop. Mm-hmm. And take breaks from shopping to sit at the bar and have a drink or two, maybe an appetizer, then shop some more, and then take another break, have a drink or an appetizer, and then shop some more, and then end up pretty drunk in bed with some pizza and call it a night.
Oh, no, crazy sexy stuff.
No, we decided not to. We decided to do this instead. Yeah. So then,
are you going to get the big New Yorker?
So no, we probably won't. But we've thought about it. Then Sunday, we're going to pick up the kids and go down to Annapolis. They're having some St. Patty's Day thing, but a lot of people from my work are going to be there for like an event. So like, I'm going to go down there and see if I can't kick it with them for a while.
Stuff.
Yeah, it should be fun.
That's a good Brazilian steakhouse in Tyson's. If you want to, have you ever partaken?
Yeah, I think we're gonna
You want
do.
to challenge your colon?
I think we're gonna do pizza in bed.
That's awesome.
But because as we've been doing it since we were 15, it's like seems right. But something else you said. Something else you just said made me want to say something else about it all.
I'd be saying random shit, bro, all the time. I can't remember what I say right after I say it.
I don't either.
Oh well,
It's horrifying.
Till next time. Short episode this week. That's all right. Shout out to the rest of the Cool Table as far as I'm concerned. If you listen to this, you're part of the Cool Table as well. Shout out to Marilyn Phil on Notes and on Twitter. Shout out to Dante the Destroyer on Facebook. Shout out to Ricky Tiki Timber on the videos. And shout out to Raul on Instagram. And with that,
Well, to be fair, we did do a top 5 today, so that's why it didn't feel so short. And it was pretty. I enjoyed it.
yeah, it was good. It was
So
good.
anyway, flappy labius.
Tasty tank.
Tight deck player.